Hey guys, welcome back. Today is a very exciting day. We are getting all of this garlic harvested, which I'm so excited about. I have pulled a few heads over the last week or so, and I have to say this garlic is looking so beautiful. I have not pulled all the varieties, so this is going to be a really fun surprise. I have 4 different varieties. 3 of them are hardneck and 1 of them is softneck. This year was my first year growing softneck, so those are the ones I am like really excited to pull up because I haven't pulled up a single one of those yet, but it is definitely time to get this garlic up. I've been waiting almost 8 months. We planted this at the end of October here in Kansas Zone 7. So let's go ahead and jump into it because it is a very hot and humid, muggy day. We have rain coming tomorrow. I was going to wait until roughly Monday to get this harvested, but it's ready to go. And I really don't want it to be rained on again. So we're getting it pulled this morning. Garlic is ready to harvest when about half of the leaves have died back. So here's 1 leaf, 2 leaves, 3 leaves, 4 leaves, and we're on our 5th leaf right here, which is exactly half. Here's the final look at all the garlic. So this right here is Italian purple. I do have a few chestnut red on the very edge. This is all chestnut red, and that is Georgian fire. And then lastly, that's all of my softneck variety called Ischium red. The chestnut was the one I have been pulling already. The chestnut was the first one to clunk out. So what I'm going to do is actually harvest these in variety. That way I can make sure I keep them all together. I hang them up all the same as well. But what I'm going to do first is actually get all of my mulch out of these beds for the most part and into my wheelbarrow. That way I'm not dealing with mulch while I'm trying to pull and get all of that mulch into the soil. I barely watered the garlic this spring. We had such good rain, and the mulch really helps trap in all of that moisture. I will say I think I maybe hand watered the garlic twice since the beginning of spring, maybe 3 times. I swear it always gets really hot right before the garlic harvest. I think the rain we're supposed to get is overnight tonight, so I couldn't wait till tomorrow morning to do this. The variety I'm going to do first is the chestnut because I already have like 4 or 5 heads of chestnut curing in the garage, and I want to keep all those together. That was a lot of mulch. I'm going to be able to reuse that. I layer the mulch about like 4 to 6 inches on top during the fall. So that is like 2 bags of mulch, which will be really handy when we replant everything. These have been pulling up pretty easy, so I'm not going to use a garden fork or anything unless I need to. Ooh, these are pretty. Last night I was actually really excited to pull the garlic when in previous years, the last 3 years, I was always just so nervous. I feel like now I have this established a little bit more where I know my routine. I know how I'm gonna cure things. I'm not second guessing myself, which feels so nice because when I would do these harvests in the past, I'd be second guessing almost everything, making sure I was doing everything okay, how I wanted it to. And this year, I know I have a routine and I know what I'm like really doing and the process of doing it. So I don't know, I was just really excited this morning and it just felt different compared to some other years. These look beautiful. These honestly might be some of my best chestnuts I have ever grown. This is the best chestnut red I have ever grown. I am so insanely happy right now. Look at these cloves. I've never had chestnut red this big and this beautiful. They look so good. I had a few that were a little bit on the smaller side, but nothing compared to some of my smaller ones in previous years. These look beautiful. If the chestnut looks this good, I can't wait to get to some of the others, especially the Georgian fire. I'm honestly just so stunned right now. I've never grown chestnut red this big. I have grown chestnut red every single year I've grown garlic, which this is year 4. Wow, and I did some things differently this year, which is so far showing to be good signs. Welcome to my garage, everyone. This is where I cure everything. So with my garlic, I've used this system now for 3 years. So I have some 2x4s that are screwed onto our garage wall here. And then over top of that, I have a cattle panel. And what I'm going to be doing is bunching this garlic, and I'm probably going to bunch them in about maybe 5 to 8. I'm gonna do a little less this year. I think in previous years I did about 8 to 10, but with the heads being so big, I wanna make sure I'm giving them adequate room. But I'll tie them all up together and I will hang them up in bunches as flat as I possibly can on this. Having the hog panel off the wall like this will also help the airflow wrap around. I have 2 strong fans going pretty much at all times during the curing process, and while the garlic is finishing up, the onions will be coming out. So I have a whole other like system for that, but this has worked so well for me over the last 3 years. So I'm just gonna get these bunched up and hung up. I'm gonna label that these are all chestnut red, and then we will move on to the next variety. So when I am curing, I do like to try to brush off as much soil as I possibly can before hanging up. I also don't cut anything. I leave everything as is. You will see everyone has a different process, but this is what has worked really well for me. But I like to just lay a few cardboard boxes on the ground. That way I can just kind of sit and take my time with each variety, kind of lay these out a little bit, where I'm just kind of fanning them onto the ground. And once I have them fanned, I'm just going to take a little bit of twine here, maybe like 2 feet or so. You probably don't need that much, but I'm gonna wrap it around the back here, along like the green part of the neck. Tie it off where that feels nice and secure. You can see it's kind of fanned out. Now I have these 2 strings here that I can just tie up on the hog panel. All right, we got 56 heads of chestnut red. One thing I forgot to mention when it comes to curing is I like to make sure I'm not overlapping the greens on top of the bulbs. That way everything gets really good airflow. I also took a few things of painter's tape and just marked where my chestnut is. So next I'm going to jump to my Georgian fire, mostly just because this is the variety I have with the least amount, but this is also the one I'm most excited about because these have been gorgeous from the start. These are supposed to be one of the bigger allium garlic plants there are, so very excited to see these cloves considering how good the chestnut looked. Oh my gosh, this is insane. Look at this. What is this? This is amazing. This is my best garlic harvest ever. Oh my gosh. Look how beautiful. Oh, these are amazing. Wow. I love things like this, like the garlic, where you don't know what you're getting until you pull it up, and it is just such a big surprise. You can only take guesses on how good everything is doing, and then you get this little beauty. Okay, this Georgian fire is insane. These cloves were just insane when I planted, but these are massive. Do you see how beautiful these are? I did have one that looks like maybe it slightly died back a little bit too much in the soil. Only this one though. So this is just one, still good to use. I'm going to use it just in my kitchen over the next few days. I am making steak tonight, so maybe I will roast it. But these are the biggest garlic heads I have ever grown. This is amazing. These cloves of Georgian fire look. Oh my gosh, I am totally growing more of that next year. This was a first for it. Even with them hanging up, you can tell a significant difference on how big the 2 plants were different, chestnut versus the Georgian fire. I've never had garlic look like this, and I've had good garlic harvest before, but there is nothing like this harvest. I'm telling you, the little changes I made, which we will discuss once I get everything harvested. I didn't want to jinx anything, but the few things I did differently this year, I swear, huge game changer. So here's all of the Italian purple. You can definitely see some of the red purpley marking coming through a little bit more with this one already. I noticed that some of the red comes through more once things have dried a little bit, but these all look so good as well. All right, we're on the last variety, which is a good thing because it's getting sunny. So this is all of my soft neck. This is the Ischium Red, which I have never grown before. I'm very excited about trying to attempt to braid some garlic this year, but let's see how these ones look. If it's anything like all the hard neck, we are about to be impressed. And I think that is the case. Oh my gosh. You guys, I am literally so impressed right now. Look at that garlic. That is so beautiful. Wow. What a great garlic year. Oh my gosh. I grew less heads of garlic overall this year, but I swear I grew more pounds of garlic this year with how beautiful these heads are. Well, you guys, I think I saved the best for last. The soft neck looks beautiful, and I think it's some of my biggest heads, if we're gonna be honest. I just wanted to save this for last because it was my first time growing a soft neck. So one thing you may not know about a soft neck versus a hard neck is the storage times are completely different. So with a hard neck variety, you're looking at roughly 4 to 6 months of storage time. But with a soft neck variety, you're looking at about 8 to 12 months. So for me, I plant my garlic at the end of October, and this is when the hard neck garlic is typically ready to be like completely processed at that point. It's starting to get soft. It's needing to be planted if I'm going to plant it. But I really wanted to still have some garlic that I could have fresh or roast throughout December, January, February, maybe even March even. And that is where the soft neck comes into play. I've always done hard neck because hard neck is mostly advised for my area, but last year I looked at my extension office, my ag extension, and they suggested this Ischium Red variety of soft neck. There was only like 2 or 3 soft neck varieties that they suggested, and I'm so glad I gave this a go. This honestly is probably my best garlic I grew this year, and I'm so happy. Like, this year is crazy. My mind is blown right now. Okay, I can't get it all into frame, but here is 145 heads of garlic. There were a few like mishaps. I had one that ended up snapping on me, and then this was the one I showed you guys earlier that looked like it was just probably not going to store well, so I'm gonna go ahead and use it. So those will get used up in the kitchen sometime this week, but these are going to cure in my garage for roughly the next 4 weeks-ish, give or take. Some years it's been a little bit hotter and drier outside and it's taking closer to 3.5, and other years it's been wet and very rainy and it's taken closer to 5. So we're just going to keep gauging the garlic over the next month, and then once everything is cured, I will get it all cleaned up and throw it into my basement. But for now, all of the garlic is going to live here in my garage. I'm gonna have fans going pretty much at all times to help with good airflow, and the door will be shut. So this is going to be a dark, cool area with good airflow, which is exactly what you want for your garlic to cure. So what curing does is it dries out the rest of the papery skin on the garlic, and that is what actually helps store your garlic. So this is a crucial process. It really helps bring out the flavor during the curing process as well with the garlic. But wow, guys, I'm so happy. I'm so impressed. Again, this is my best garlic year I've ever had. So the things I did differently was, one, I started off different with planting. I spaced these out 8 inches apart all around. Previous years, I would do 4 to 6 inches. That was number one. After that, the only other thing I did differently this year was fertilize. I fertilized with a fish and seaweed fertilizer the entire time. I stopped fertilizing right as the garlic scapes appeared. Obviously, soft neck doesn't have garlic scapes. So that was roughly 4 weeks ago, 3-4 weeks ago now. With the garlic and fish fertilizer, I also did my first foliar feed. I have never done a foliar feed before ever, and that's all I did with this garlic was foliar feed. I was feeding this garlic every 7 to 10 days with the fish and seaweed fertilizer up until the scapes appeared. I also want to say I started fertilizing a lot earlier. So our February was decently warm, and I noticed that the garlic was starting to put on a little bit of growth. Once I started noticing that growth getting put on toward the end of winter, I went ahead and started fertilizing. I did have a few cold dips, but the garlic did so well with those cold dips. They just got fed a lot earlier. And again, those two things made a huge difference this year. I'm honestly so excited right now and so impressed. I can't wait to see how many pounds of garlic we will end up with, because last year, I believe I weighed out how many pounds I ended up with, and I need to double check, because this will be a really cool comparison considering I planted less garlic this year, and I just know by the looks of it, I have more pounds of garlic. But yeah, guys, how fun. I'm so excited. So the varieties on the wall go Chestnut Red, Georgian Fire, Italian Purple, and then the Ischium Red. But yeah, I am so excited right now. I feel like I should go celebrate. These look so good. I'm so happy. If you can't tell, I think I've said this a million times now, but thank you guys so much for hanging out with me this morning while I harvested all this garlic and started the curing process. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.